Hello, my name is Forrest Hill, uh, and this is the first video in my 20 minutes podcast. I've recorded myself a few times before this, but uh, this will be the official start because I procrastinated, you know, or forgot, and then procrastinated, made bad choices, and didn't create. So I'm here creating now. And the topic I want to be for this pod what I want the topic to be for this podcast is the issue of procrastination. And I would talk about it in length if I was eloquent enough, well read and studied, but and practiced in speaking. Unfortunately, I'm not, but I intend for this to be my practice. So, on the topic of procrastination, I would I procrastinate a ton. Will have way too much for way too long. Would almost call myself a professional procrastinator, but I'm not quite that good. So I'll call myself an amateur procrastinator. And so there are a few things that go into procrastination, like why you're procrastinating, what you're procrastinating about from doing, or what you're avoiding, right? And then, of course, like how often or when. I don't know if I said why before, but there are a few aspects of it. So to help with it, I think you need to decide what matters and what you actually want to do, so you can better focus yourself. Because if you're sitting there aimlessly, you're probably procrastinating on everything. Uh, if you want, like, it is important to take breaks, and if you're procrastinating on work or studying, then and you've actually put some effort into it, uh, you know, a break is warranted every once in a while. It's healthy. Um, you can change your setting, get away from electronics. Those are prone to distract you. A lot of stuff in this modern life will take your attention. If you let yourself slip on over to YouTube, as I tend to do, you can fall down a rabbit hole for years. There's an unwatchable amount of content out there. So it's just about finding the best and sticking to that, I think. And that's kind of what brings me here today talking, is that I want to be my best. And what does that entail? Helping others, right? And turning 25 recently, makes me wonder whether I've already, yeah, I already have passed my maximum potential over my lifetime. It's just doing what you can now, which for me is speaking into my phone here on this Wobbly video, which I promise will get better when I record myself with a set camera, a still camera. Trying to hold still here. So for procrastination, you gotta pay attention to your attention, because I think that's probably one of the major causes, or like procrastination is often a lack of attention, or is due to a result of attention. I think procrastination is often a result of improperly spent attention. So, like, if you find yourself procrastinating, what activities are you doing that keep you from working on or doing or creating, listening, learning, whatever it is you're procrastinating about? Figure out what activities you're doing, what activities your procrastination is. Jeez, I'm having a terrible time speaking. I'm just gonna upload this because I can't spend a ton more time on this. But and it's all messy, and I was gonna curse, but decided against it. So, losing myself here. I've got this book called Improving Your Reasoning, and it talks about procrastination. So I'm going to take a short excerpt from that to help realign me here. So this book on procrastination, and specifically in the context of political fallacies, this guy says, the fallacy of procrastination is committed when someone seems to be in favor of something only if its appearance is always scheduled for some time in the future. So, if you're like me and constantly telling yourself you're going to do all these things, but those things are always going to be done tomorrow, then it's worth considering whether you're actually procrastinating and not actually doing those things. Because if something's going to be done, it needs to be done now in the present moment. And it might not be the proper now to do certain things, but it's always a time to do what's right. It's always the right time to do the right thing. Something like that is what Martin Luther King said. And so I'll bastardize a quote by him and put it into my video. Jeez. Okay, so continuing on reading here. This is a particularly useful and deceitful strategy for politicians. Suppose, for example, a constituent informs her representative that a swimming pool is needed in her district. Okay, so how could you relate this to yourself? Like, if you're the politician directing, or trying to lead, like, your ego is the politician. You're trying to lead all your constituents, which might be like your feelings and how your body is and everything. And so, like, your ego, right, might be agreeing with all these wonderful things that your body and emotions tell you need to do. But then, like, for me, you lose attention and the intention to do things. So you might get, like, if you get distracted, lose your attention from what you want to do, then that would be procrastinating. skipping a bit here. The fallacy of procrastination is frequently committed on a somewhat smaller scale, aka, every any given second or so, if you're not totally in the moment. So he's continuing on. The vast number of more or less intentionally unfulfilled promises may be considered instances of this fallacy. Whenever anyone grants a request but persists in pushing the delivery date into the future, the fallacy of procrastination is committed. So, to avoid committing the fallacy of procrastination, you need to decide on some now where you will actually be doing the thing. And so it relates to having enough discipline to avoid procrastinating. So you have to practice. Meditation is a great tool you can use for that. Physical exercise, pushing your limits, trying to learn things, vocabulary, testing yourself, stuff like that. I've been half trying to do these things, and now I'm really trying to get into it and be doing things. Avoid that procrastination. So I hope that I might be an inspiration for some future person or AI or dog, alien species is watching this. It'll show me and all my inadequacies here, and all my stumbling, rambling words. I know I'm not close to 20 minutes because that would be too easy. But I'm going to check the clock real quick. 12 minutes. So, let's see. I lost my paper I wrote some stuff on. Yeah, a great thing you can do is to change your setting. If you find yourself constantly procrastinating because you're drawn to the TV or computer in a certain room, then maybe go to, try and use some other location without a TV to do the work you're procrastinating on, or to do what you've been procrastinating on. So, like for me, that would be, I have my personal computer in my room, and I just get drawn to that like a fly to a light. And so, to actually get things done, changing my, I change my setting by standing up out of my chair or walking around my room. That's like the minimal steps. Beyond that, I'm like, okay, let's do an exercise routine in my living room, or let's go for a bike ride so I can actually spend the time that I want to on dedicated thought and improving myself. I played a ton of video games in my life, and it sucks because I'm not the best at them, even though I put in way too much time. And turning 25 now, I'm like, reflexes and whatnot. So for me, it's like deciding what I want to do, and you should decide what you want to do, because if if you haven't decided on what you want to do, and you go on through your life and then later realize what you wish you would have done because you didn't spend enough time thinking about it before and making decisions and deciding what you want to do, right? So you might be procrastinating without even knowing it because you're not doing, like, you may be doing some sort of work or working towards some sort of goal, but you you should try and reach some certainty on this and awareness. Be conscious of what it is you're trying to do, because if you 20 years down the road you realize that you wish it would have been something else, even though you worked really hard in those 20 years, then you procrastinated without knowing it. Or, that's something to watch out for. Oh, geez, what a mess this is. To close it out, I just, again, want to repeat that you got to do stuff now. If you're doing it tomorrow, you're procrastinating. Uh, so, if you don't want to procrastinate, like, even if there's some event you have planned for a later date, to, as Aldous Huxley said, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So if you have events planned in the future, you got to be vigilant about being prepared and everything. Being prepared and practiced and able to appreciate. Yeah, so stay in the oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking to a camera to nobody. Nobody now, but myself, I guess. All right, well, until tomorrow, this is my 20 minutes. Best of luck. Stay strong.